Can you feel it? The fire in your soul, leaping at the chance for love. Can you feel it? Haunting your senses, letting all your feelings go. But I can feel it rushing through my veins. Your love's the only drug I know. But we've been playing the hand now we're devil. We can light it up. I know that we can make it through the night, but I can feel the fire inside, so there won't be no fear tonight. You wanna know my feelings every time I look in your eyes. Baby, I can feel your energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I.
Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hey, no.
to, as I was saying, welcome to the RFDL podcast for week 9 of League Play. I'm Ecliptic Fades. I'm here with Arilax and Daki. We got a bit of a short crew tonight. How are we feeling, guys?
I like that you said short crew because Alex is here.
Daki, you're shorter than me, okay? Shush.
Well, I mean, we did name it short for a reason. We do have Tiny Lax with us, so...
Yeah!
Come on!
You know, I think
Come
it is
on,
apt.
man.
But we don't have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, as the theme of this week is going to be short. We have a short podcast going on today, but we're just gonna get with you guys and just talk a little bit of RFDL as we usually do. We're gonna have the MVP of the week to discuss. We'll discuss the match of the week, but we don't have a video for that. That will be here on Saturday instead, so you guys will still be able to see all of that. And then we also have our normal predictions, along with anything that's happened with the free agents recently, which actually has been quite a lot. So let's just go ahead and talk about some of the matches that we saw. As you guys remember, we had a bit of a break last week where we didn't do anything at all. So it's been a while since we saw these games. And as for Aerolax, he didn't actually see any of these at all. So it's mainly going to be me and Daki talking about a lot of this stuff. But let's start off with let's rip the band-aid off quick for you, Daki. Awata Gaming versus Black Bunny, not going in necessarily the way that you guys wanted it to. Ended up being a 3-1 against your team with a 10 goal difference. Was kind of dominant from Black Bunny.
It is what it is.
I think he made sure that was wiped from his memory. So I don't.
Fair.
I don't blame you with that first game ending in a Brazil. It's gotta be tough. It's gotta be tough going into a match like that. And I mean, that roster just keeps continuing to show us success. And I'm excited to see what they can do now that they are at a spot that can contend for rank 1 in the league again. But I will spoil a little bit of something here going into this next week. But Hammer and in turns Black Bunny Gaming have the entirety of the accolades top spots. So
I'm sad.
Honestly, I gotta admit, I'm pretty sad too. I did not necessarily want this to be another Hammer showcase for RFDL Season 1, and that's exactly what we got. But
It's always
I mean,
what we're gonna get.
I think that I think it just shows how good of a player Hammer is. He's trying to be that back of the line third man, but he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to do that. And that just means he has to put his full skills on display. And when he does, he's just dominant. And you know, I think it's just par for the course. I mean, we need somebody to show up and, you know, send him packing, but I just want to remind everybody that I did beat Hammer, so
Okay.
just remember that when he's at the top of the standings. And you gotta remember, Cloud9 won that match, so you know, I'll take the victory. But yeah, I mean, let's just move on from that. I mean, obviously we'll see a lot of Black Bunny here in a while. Let's talk Gentle Paws and Dignipaws, because Dignipaws actually, we thought that they were kind of, you know, out of the picture for a little bit. They weren't looking as great as they did when they beat X3 Tactics. But they take down Gentle Paws, and Gentle Paws was looking really convincing as well the week before. So a bit of a surprising result, if I say so myself. What do you guys think? Come on, don't be shy.
I see.
I'm trying to jog my memory as we go for some of these like moments.
It's been a while, yeah.
It has been a while. The break was not easy on this memory of mine.
Fair.
I'm just gonna go off of like the way things are and how kind of I'm interpreting just the teams. I don't know. It's not super surprising. If I remember right, Runesky play, right? I think,
Yeah,
right?
Runesky did play in that match.
Okay, so that's the Runesky buff. I don't know. It's undefeatable with that buff, so it's not surprising me that they won. You know, you can't beat the Runesky buff as we've seen. So, you know, W for Dignipause, and you take that one on the chin if you're Gentle Pause. It's almost impossible to overcome the Runesky buff. So
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I just saw Vedic say something about putting each week's MVP on the master sheet. That's actually not quite a bad idea. Maybe we'll get that implemented, because that would be nice to see how that who gets MVP every week. So maybe we'll do something like that in the future. But I mean, I gotta agree with Docky there on the matchup. Runesky buff is pretty overpowered. He hasn't really lost anything yet. Besides the one game that they lost against Gentle Pause there. That was his first game loss. But every time he's shown up, he's only shown up for 5 games, but every single time he's played really well. I think he really meshed with the team, and it made me kind of surprised that he wasn't actually just playing in the league in general, taking more of that backseat manager role, but I understand that, life has its way of making it so you can't really play a lot, so, do what you gotta do. But I think that he would look strong on any sort of team. But we'll move on to our next match. We'll talk about this one real quick. Lumimosity versus Cloud9. It was our featured matchup of the week, but unfortunately, Aerolax, you weren't able to make that match, and so it ended up being Levi, Avid, and Not Joe on your squad facing off against mine, and I think that your team looked pretty good, but you could definitely tell that you were missing. I will say that much.
Oh.
And I mean,
Yeah, it's fair.
yeah, I can't wait till we can play again, because I do really want to play you on that team. That being
Oh, so
said,
you want to get destroyed? Gotcha.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. No, that being said, Lumimosity put up a really good fight. Every single player had a pop-off moment. Game 3 literally was like the Avid show with how much he was destroying us. And then, like, you also saw some really good moments from Levi and really good moments from Not Joe. I definitely just think, like, my team has been popping off a little bit more recently, and we just showcased that a little bit. I think it could be a really good matchup with you around on the squad, but I think that Not Joe was a decent replacement, but at the same time, it's like, you're substituting a GC3 for a GC1. So there's obviously going to be a little bit of a skill gap there, and I do think that my team was just able to take advantage of that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
Yeah, but I mean, not much to say about, honestly, a lot of these matches. Although I think we're about to get to some that actually really have, like, some really good stories. So get all of the caster matches out of the way. Nobody wants to hear about how good we did. Although I will say I'm the only one of the casters that took a W last week, and Docky called all the casters washed, but I keep myself from that group. That could be on you guys.
To be fair, I didn't say that we were washed. I said we all suck.
Oh, that's fair.
We do suck, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about how I feel. I don't think I suck, but we'll see.
Yes, you do.
Wow, okay.
Whoa.
Thanks, Arrow, thanks.
Whoa.
Confidence from the desk. Toxicity.
I said we. I was not singling anyone out.
Toxicity in the
We
chat,
just
guys.
all happen to be on the lower
Someone
half
get
of
the
I'm just making sure it's inclusive, okay?
I need an admin. Wait, he is an admin. Crap.
Bye.
Anyway, moving on to the matches that were actually, like, really good. Let's talk about X3 Tactics and Fox Clan. Fox Clan taking a win, and X3 getting their second loss now of the season, which actually puts them in a pretty precarious spot with them on a bit of a loss right there. They're going to have to bounce back from that, but Black Bunny now has the same record as them, meaning if one team loses and the other wins, they take the top spot, and that could have huge implications for mid-season. But I honestly want to talk about Fox Clan, because Fox Clan they're ramping up again, and I love to see it. You know how I am a avid Fox Clan supporter. What did you think of the match, Docky?
How would they play again?
It was Fox Clan X3 Tactics.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You might
Oh,
remember
man.
some very specific moments from that match.
Yeah, I remember this one.
What
It's
Yeah,
happened?
kind of evil.
I mean, it's not. It's just it's crazy to think that that caused
Crazy.
kind of the reaction that we got in that going into that game 5. I mean,
Well,
Foxconn
game
looked really
4.
good. Or did I say game? Well, no, I just meant. Yeah, is this a game? Did they win in
It was in
4?
4. It was in 4.
Okay. It's crazy that last match was kind of crazy to me to watch because like X3 went into it, or at least one player on X3 went into it, kind of tilted, and that showed, right? Because they were trolling, and then they started
Right.
trying, and then they brought it back, but at that point it was too late, and there was so much momentum on Foxland that didn't matter. I kind of want to wonder if the mental was like better, that team probably wins that matchup.
Yeah,
But just,
honestly.
it didn't go that way. Obviously, so yeah, I don't. It's a really tough one to think about because it's just like the way that it ended was. I mean, I'm sure JV and Taka are happy with how it ended, but as a viewer, it's kind of like sad because we had pretty good Rocket League, and it just was one of the teams decided not to take it too seriously, which I guess is fine, but it kind of takes away our ability to see a more competitive series there. So yeah, Foxcon's obviously good. That makes it's difficult to deal with how good they can be sometimes. Obviously, that can cause some mental problems with struggling with adapting. But yeah, I mean, Foxcon's definitely looking better every week. So they're gonna be annoying to go up against no matter who you are, obviously.
Yeah, and just to fill in Arrow a little bit, just so he knows exactly
Hi.
how it happened. But in game 4, FoxClan went up, I think 4-0 very early. And then by the end of the game, it got tied 5-5 and went to OT. But FoxClan's momentum was quite insane, and they were able to pull out the win in 4. And I mean, the scoreline doesn't, the scoreline says it for yourself. Game 1 was 3-0 to FoxClan, then a 3-2, I believe, overtime win for X3 Tactics, and then a 5-0 win for FoxClan, and then a 6-5 win once again in overtime. So the games that were close. They were really good, but other than that, it just seemed like FoxClan had the upper hand in that entire match. They just were playing so well, and they were just they were quite insane, honestly. But yeah, that was definitely a match to behold. And then we had 2 more matches on the week. Let's talk about both of these went to a game 5, but they were both very exciting. Let's talk Persian 1 Twisted Tales. Persian 1 Twisted Tales went all the way to 5. Persian 1 take the game take the series in game 5, but I think it was a really good showing for the start of this new Twisted Tales squad. For those that don't remember, the new Twisted Tales squad is Liska, Golden, and Skifty, and they definitely showed that they have a lot to do in this league. I mean, compared to what the old Twisted Tales looked like, this one looks a lot more rotational focused, letting all the players kind of have their moment to shine. And it's a lot more or less of a one-person effort. And I think that's working really well for them because they were putting up quite a fight against the Persian 1 squad that had gotten some practice in the last few weeks, and they had been looking good too. But Docky, what were your thoughts on that match?
Oh gosh, I remember the score lines.
It was a close one. So game 1 was 5-3 Twisted Tales. Then Persian 1 3-2. Then Persian 1 again 2-1. And then Twisted Tales took game 4 3-4. And then Persian 1 took game 5 2-1. So it was very close games. All 1-goal games except that first one.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, then yeah, exactly. I think we said this beforehand that I would have loved to see them kind of have that honeymoon chemistry, but it's so rare that you kind of come out of the gate like swinging like that with new rosters, especially against more established teams. The chemistry is just not there, so it usually takes a while. We've seen that a ton in this league, so it's not super surprising. But the fact that they played, I think, that well early on, I think should bode well for this team. I do not think that they should look at this as like a like we should like I can't believe we lost. It's more so like okay, like we lost, but I mean this is the first time they played together and they played really well. So I have a lot of hope for that team, and hopefully they have a lot of hope in themselves. I mean they played really well. Obviously, I'm sure Alex is gonna steal my. I'm gonna steal the line before Alex can say it, but let's go goated.
Let's get goated.
Yeah, so they have a lot of good things I think to think about.
Yeah, and I did want to ask Aerolax what he does think. I know he hasn't seen any gameplay yet, but just seeing the score lines of Twisted Tales kind of creates at least a little bit of a picture of what they were able to pull off. What are your thoughts on how this team is going to fare in the second half of league play and the mid-season tournament coming up?
I mean, I can't remember right offhand how long this specific Persian 1 squad has been together, but just that a completely new structured team was able to go up against them all the way to Game 5 and only lose that Game 5 by 1 goal. That's pretty impressive. And, like, as you guys were mentioning, like, this is now a lot more rotational heavy team, which I feel is what the old Twisted Tail squad was missing. So the fact that they've just been able to get a new roster and immediately just set up that rotation structure, I can already tell that this is going to be a very formidable team as soon as they can get that chemistry down, which I feel is going to be very soon.
Yeah, and this is just a team that's only been playing for, at the time of the match, they had only been playing for like a week. And since then, there have been multiple instances where I've seen all three of them in the same VC, in like the Rocket League server, just grinding it, which makes me really excited to see what they're going to be able to do. And this next week, they play X3 Tactics, which is also going to be a bit of a new team, which we'll be talking about that in a bit, guys. But I think that Twisted Tales might actually have the upper hand in that match, so maybe we see them finally get their second win in their books. And that's just going to do so much good for the mental going into the rest of the league in general. So I'm excited to see it. And I hope they can showcase what they were, what they're really trying to, how they're really trying to perform. But then we'll move on to our last match of the day. And this one, I would say, a bit of an upset. Protogen Rebellion against Big Dragon Squad. That would be our match of the week this week, guys, I believe. But, of course, as we said, we are going to be showcasing the video for that on Saturday instead of tonight, guys. So you will see that as we talk about it again on Saturday. But Protogen Rebellion taking it in Game 5 by 1 goal. It was honestly a little bit, dare I say it, crazy.
Crazy.
But what were your thoughts on that match, Shocky? Because I know it was quite enjoyable to watch.
Someone give me this. Oh, I'm gonna look at the score again real quick. It sucks having it. Okay, listen. All right, it's been a long week. I need to regain my thoughts here. Hold on. Wait, Alex, you go first. I gotta.
He didn't see it.
Rat. Oh wait, can you go over the games for me then?
Okay, so Progen Rebellion is forced to score Big Dragon Squad a second. So first game was 2-3, then 4-1, 1-6, 2-0, 3-2.
Okay. That's right. I remember this vividly now. Okay, thank you, Alex. It's back in my brain. Yeah, this was the reverb static matchup that we were all talking about for forever. I expected it to be close. I did not expect it to go the way it went, but it kind of felt it kind of felt good to watch. I think the team click as well as they did. And I think we joked about like there being like a kind of a trolley aspect to the match, and we saw kind of that, right? Both Static and Reverb were in the Takumi, if I remember right. But
Yeah, they were.
they definitely both were trying like pretty hard. So that was kind of cool to see. I think both wanting to win against one another. So yeah, I mean, it was really good. I think that, I mean, if you're Protogen, you're happy obviously to have that go your way, and yeah, I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it was a really good win for Protogen. Definitely, like, as I said, it's an upset win. As Big Dragon Squad, a really good team, one of the top teams, and so, you definitely would be very, you wouldn't expect a team as low as Protogen Rebellion to put up a fight, but as we constantly talk about, any team can beat any other team in this league. And that was a really great showcase of it. And I know the arguments might be like Reverb wasn't on Backfire. Reverb was like, he was playing against Static. But I mean, I think that they still put up a really good fight, and they still looked like a very powerful team. Unlike the other week where Reverb, you could kind of see he was having confidence issues, and you could see that in the gameplay, and that was what the last time they had lost before that. This week, he didn't look like he lost any confidence at all, and it looked like he was still able to go for very impressive shots. So you were playing against Big Dragon Squad at full force, and you were able to win, and that's not something to, look down on. Like, that is a huge accomplishment. But I mean, it's led to a couple of interesting things happening here in the world of RFDL. And I kind of want to talk about those a little bit.
I'm scared.
Before we get to a couple of other things. So, excuse me for a second as I try to get this working.
I'm scared.
But I just want to talk about a little bit of this little thing that happened the other day. And you might have seen this yesterday, guys. But give me just a second. There we go. That's perfect. That's perfect. We'll go ahead and put that
I get it.
there. But I put this in the wrong spot. Son of a hoe. This is gonna work. This is gonna work, guys. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Do I know what I'm doing?
Long.
I don't know if I know what I'm doing. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. We're good, guys. Anyway, oh, you can see that behind me. Anyway, NA Production. Let's talk about the shock of the week. You can see right here, guys. Ignore everything else on the screen, but you can see Static has been benched. As per RFDL, yesterday, they said Static has been benched. I wanted to give a little bit more of some insight on this because a lot of people have been asking questions. A lot of people are like, is Static okay? Is he washed? What's going on with him? But I do want to know, I do want to let you guys know that we have seen we've seen a couple of comments coming from players and some inside sources, along with a shocking revelation, which I am going to share with you guys here soon. First off, I want to let you guys know that we did get a bit of a leak from, I believe, it was one of our inside sources, but it was a conversation with Turtles, who said that they benched Static because, according to Turtles, it's because he's fat. He's a fatty. And I mean, that's kind of, I don't go for the fat shaming. Like, that's not cool. Also, I have seen, there was some, oh, my lights just flickered. Oh my. I did see, I also saw a message from Static himself, the furry bait streamer himself, and I'm trying to find the actual spot where he said that. He said, and I quote, "Unbelievable. The blood, sweat, and tears I put into this team all for nothing. Also that Rystall could get her time to shine. Well, it won't work. And to Heavenly, meow. Interesting coming from Static. Very interesting.
Especially
But-
that last part, like, whoa.
But I do have a shocking revelation, guys, that nobody here would have expected. So I asked if I could get I went and checked my sources, and we found out what Static being benched actually meant. And most of you guys would think, oh, he's benched, that means he's off the roster. No, no, no. He was actually just benched.
Oh.
He was just, you can see he's just on the bench, and, you know, he was just doing a little chill, guys. Like, he's not off the team or anything. He was just laying on a bench, and, you know, some words were exchanged. So, Static is not off the roster. He was just chilling on the bench, but, you know, I mean, I hope that you guys understand that we at RFDL take this very seriously, and we don't want to throw allegations at anybody, but, yeah, Static on the bench, maybe a new strat made by the Protogen Rebellion squad. What do you guys think about that?
I have several questions.
And I have several answers. They might not be the right answers, but they are answers. Oh, answers. That's what I was trying to say.
Docky, you got anything to say?
I don't know what I'm.
Static bench,
yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
Static has been benched, yeah.
That is a true.
That is what happened.
Okay, well, let's move on to other topics then. Now that we have, you know, that out of the way, we do have to talk about another very important thing happening on Protogen Rebellion, which is, of course, that they got a win. And you know what that means? That means Turtles gets a little bit of a prize. And I am happy to showcase that his prize is something that he's been wanting for a long time. And I just want to let you guys see what that is. So if we go over here, you can see Turtle's still in the desert. He's got his sugar cubes. He's got his Dasani water. But what's that above his head? So this is something
Pomegranate
that...
juice.
This is something that I found out. This is lore from Turtles, but these are apparently called Jammy Dodger shots. And I don't know what they have in them, but they look kind of good. Although the top doesn't look that good. I don't know why Turtles would drink something like that. But I do
British
know
thing.
that it is alcoholic in nature. And I think what they're trying to do, I think it's they're trying to dehydrate Turtles a little bit more here in the desert, just to make sure that he plays at peak effectiveness. But what do you guys think?
It's a British thing.
Yeah, that's really all my mind is on right now. It's like
British.
British.
Yeah,
Welcome
but
up, mate.
you know, I'm very happy that Turtles is finally getting the respect he deserves. But we'll see if he can keep himself sober enough to play in his next match. But yeah, congratulations
Yeah,
to
funny
Turtles
joke.
and all of that. I mean, there's a few more things to talk about as well tonight. There's plenty of time. As I did say, we are going to have a bit of a shorter podcast today, so you can see that is going on right now as I'm trying to come up with content. But
I don't know
as
what
Static
you're
is saying
talking
in chat, the respect he deserves as he remains in the desert with Dasani water. You are correct, Static. But we'll see how you guys do. I have... I guess that's a question for after we do predictions. But I want to see... I will see what you guys think about that. Not sure. I'm just having fun chilling out with you guys, honestly. It's nice. It's been like a week and a half. I guess I should ask, how was your guys' break from RFDL for a week? Not having to deal with the hassle of league play, the scheduling of matches, the constant scrimming, and the weekly productions that we do. How was it to be able to take a break from all of that for a little bit?
I didn't relax whatsoever. I had like 17 concerts, 13 exams, and more depression.
Honestly, sounds like a skill issue to me, but Docky!
Wow.
I'm gonna I think piggyback off what you said. Sounds like a skill issue to me, Alex. It's been I think the break has bin much needed. I think the burnout was real. The burnout was real. From overworking. Reminder to everyone that a lot of this is volunteer work, so sometimes it can get tiresome. So it's kind of nice to get a break from that. For you guys and for us. So we're all doing this for fun, and
Very much agreed and well said, Docky. And Static saying the break led to him ending up on a bench, so he has back pain. Again, I say the same thing I said to Aerolax. A little bit of a skill issue there, Static, but I'm sure your team will help you out. Maybe if you guys win your next game, they'll allow you to sleep in a bed again. But we shall see. I honestly enjoyed the break. I think it was really nice. As Docky did say, this is a lot of volunteer work, and the burnout can get pretty real at times, especially for managers. As much as we do production stuff on the back end, we are also, at least me and Docky and Fire, not Arrow, but we are also managers, which means we're trying to plan scrims, trying to plan matches, trying to figure out the ins and outs of scheduling with multiple teams and all that sort of stuff. It can get a lot. So I think a break every so often is nice, and I think it's well deserved for everybody, not even just the managers, but the players as well. Having to play Rocket League day in, day out, practicing and getting ready for the next matches. It can be a lot to handle, and Rocket League burnout is definitely a real thing that I'm sure a lot of people deal with, along with, taking this league as seriously as some people do. We really want people to see this as more of a casual league where they can just have fun. Everybody's playing for Discord titles. It's not like we're playing for cash or anything.
We're getting paid?
No, you're not getting paid. So we just want to have fun with it. We don't want to take it like super serious. But we still do like the competitiveness that it does bring out in some players, as long as it's to a respectable degree. But that being said, we do have more matches coming up to talk about, and we should go ahead and talk about them as we get into the schedule for this next week that you can see on your screen right now, guys.
Whoa.
Sorry, I needed some water. But we got some very interesting matchups coming up this next week. Foxland playing against Gentle Paws, Black Money Gaming versus Protogen Rebellion, Persian 1 versus BDS, Claude 9 versus Awaptic, Dignipaws versus Lumimosity, and our featured matchup is going to be X3 Tactics versus Twisted Tails. And that match is going to be very, very interesting. And we'll explain more on that as we get into predictions, talking about the next week. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about free agents. And before we do that, I'm just going to ask the desk here, what matchup are you most excited to see, not including your own? Don't be shy.
Honestly, I'm really excited to see that last match on the bottom right there.
I said not including.
Okay, fine. What about the one above that? Can I choose that one?
You can.
Okay,
which
then in
one
that
is
case
that?
I'm very intrigued to see the matchup right in the middle there, the X3 versus Twisted Tails matchup, because that one in particular, there's a reason why that one's the featured matchup, because both of those teams have gone through a massive roster change. I think both teams only having one player that used to be on the team now, like it's kind of insane.
What about you, Doggy? What are you looking most forward to?
It's, I'm recovering.
Hate it.
I spent so much time on that. It's actually ridiculous. Um, let me see. I'm gonna go with it.
Dang. Okay, hold up.
Let's
What
see.
else is massive in chat? Hey, yo.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
I don't know. Don't worry
People
about it,
going
guys.
wild.
Wait, Alex, are you actually playing your match this week?
I mean, I hope so.
Are you That's wild.
Alex doesn't play the game, so I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Says you.
I'm in the game right now. I'll have you know.
Okay, well, I'm doing other things.
I feel like it's cheesy to say the featured matchup, so I'll say the Protogen Black Bunny game, just because I think that has a lot of potential to be a lot of fun. I think Protogen coming off of a kind of impressive win last week, probably wanting to win this one just for the heck of it. So I think that'll be a lot closer than it might seem on paper, and I think that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's gonna be, for me, I mean, you said Black Bunny Protogen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're stealing that one. I gotta say Foxland Gentle Paws. Gentle Paws, they didn't look great in this last week, but I expect them to look much better after a bit of a break. Meanwhile, Taka, Javian, and Abyss have been looking stellar since Abyss joined the roster. I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I think it's really going to be like seeing whether Pictus can show up on the accuracy side of the field versus whether the Taka Javian combo can do what it's known for. But I definitely think it could go either way. But I mean, you got to give honorable mention to the Black Bunny series and the X3 series, because as I said, if one of those teams loses and the other wins, they take the top spot in the league, which is massive going into the midseason. But I mean, we also have a couple more things to talk about. But before we do that, I mean, I just gotta ask Docky. Docky, how you feeling today?
Oh,
Wait, what's that?
I'm feeling
What
goofy.
the?
What is? Oh.
Docky, what's happening? Docky, are you okay? Docky?
What?
What happened to Docky? Guys, I think Docky is, I think he's changing form. Docky, what happened to you? I think I broke Donkey, guys. Okay, we're done with that. We're done with that, guys. Donkey just wanted to show off his new persona. That's just what Donkey wanted to do for a little bit. But we got a couple more things to talk about today. Let's talk about our free agents, as we see Static on the bench right here. But not for long, as we've got quite a few things happening here on the side of multiple teams. Let's talk about Persian 1 real quick. They are going to be bringing in a new player. Once again, Sam is going to be relegated to free agent once again. And taking their place, it's going to be Fire J Boss. And they've shown up in a couple of matches. Been very, very strong. Also, we have a new manager for Dignipause, which is going to be Attacking Toads. Now, Attacking Toads, from my experience, does not play Rocket League. So they are coming in. Runesky dropped out as the manager. He, I believe, is still a free agent. However, he is no longer the manager of Dignipause. So Toads has taken that reign, and I'm just going to use Fire's words against him. We now have a manager who has less gameplay knowledge than Rystall in the league. Which is interesting to say the least. Not something I was necessarily expecting to happen, but I am happy to see a new face for the manager of Dignipause. And also, along with that, we have a new player for X3 Tactics as well in Trico, I believe is what we're going to be calling them. They are coming in as a GC2. And to let you guys all know about that situation, they do not have a third yet. And along with that, Corrupt has stepped down from the managing role of X3 Tactics as well. He is now a free agent, and in their place, Shy is the new manager of X3 Tactics. Along with that, we had a couple of other changes that I don't think were sent to me by our editor. Some of those being, in particular, you should be able to see these on the changes on the roster move section of the master sheet, but Yuki has also become a free agent off of Dignipause.
Gasp.
And Ruboy Brian has also left X3 Tactics, and they are becoming an inactive player. So a lot of changes in this last couple of weeks, and I mean, there are two teams right now that do not have a definitive third, and that's something that's kind of strange. We don't know who they're going to be bringing into their matches this coming week. I know that Shy is in the process of trying people out, and they've been looking for some scrims. So, guys, if you have free time, definitely hit up Shy, because they are looking for as many scrims as possible to get the best roster they can. I'm very excited to see what they come up with, but also Dignipause now looking for a new third as well, and I'm not sure who they're going to pick, but I think whoever it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good choice. I mean, obviously, you're losing out on a lot and losing out on Yuki. So it's going to be some pretty hard shoes to fill, but hopefully they can pick somebody that can fit into the rotations as well as Yuki did and get off to a good start, especially this close to midseason. But I think those are all the changes that we have to discuss for roster moves. What do you guys think about all this change?
Rostermania.
Rostermania Part 2.
It really is Rostermania Part 2. Is there anything that you're looking forward to? I, for one, am looking forward to the new X3 Tactics squad to see what they can do.
I'm honestly really intrigued to see if this Twisted Tails squad can keep up this run, because, I mean, like, looking at their record, they're kind of gonna have to, because they're currently at 1-8, but that one win came from this new squad. Or, no, it didn't, sorry, but, like, they got very close to a second win, and I'm sure that they're going to find a lot more wins with this squad, and I'm very excited to see Twisted Tails just start climbing up the standings.
I mean, there's a few that I could pick, I think. Dignipause is on its second large roster change-up, so that'll be interesting to see how that works, I think, for them. Version 1 on its third, which is confusing to say out loud, but they're on their third player on that team.
Third.
So they're on a little bit of a disadvantage, chemistry wise, and obviously, them trying to figure that roster out is, obviously as a new player coming in, you got to think, the situations and whatnot. And then for Dignipause, obviously they just unfortunately they're just having a lot of time trying to build a roster, I think, around Sylvie. And this will be the third attempt at that. So, yeah. So we'll have to see how this ends up working for them. So I have a lot of hope, though.
Yeah, for sure. I do gotta say I'm also interested in seeing Twisted Tales play again. If they do start going on a win streak, I'm basically going to say that Skifty was the Aralax that Liska needed for this season. Because that's just how it works. But you know what? I think that it's gonna be
It's
good either way.
it's honestly just the
and-
Liska effect.
Yeah, I honestly have to agree with that. It's just a Liska effect. But I think we only have one more big thing to do tonight, guys, and that is going to be predictions. So I will go ahead and start each of the predictions this week, and we'll just go across the screen, and we'll just, give our predictions. Fire Streak has already given us his predictions, and I'll let you guys know what those are going to be as the last one. But let's start off. As usual, we'll do our featured matchup last. And let's go ahead and go with Black Bunny Gaming versus Protogen Rebellion to start. And now I'm regretting saying that I would go first, because this is actually a tough match. And it really, honestly, I think it really depends on... There's a few factors that this depends on. Obviously, everybody at this point is going to have had a week and a half to 2 week off where they may or may not have been practicing with their squad. I'm assuming this is just an assumption, and that's how I'm going to base this. I am going to assume that out of these two squads, I think that Protogen Rebellion would have been playing together more throughout the past 2 weeks than Black Bunny Gaming has. And because of that, I'm going to give this to Protogen Rebellion in 5. I think it goes close either way, but I think that Protogen Rebellion probably, if I know the players as much as I think I do, which with Black Bunny, I don't know them at all. So that's not much to say on that. But I do think that with Protogen Rebellion, I think they will practice more together throughout these last 2 weeks. I think they'll be ready for this matchup, and I think that they'll bring it to a Black Bunny squad that might not have played as much together over the last couple of weeks and might find difficulty at first. And yeah, I think Protogen in 5 is a good one. Oh yeah, we did forget to the MVP. My bad. Hammer, you are correct. Should we do MVP after the predictions? I think we should.
Yeah, might as well.
We'll just do that after. So I started off. I'm giving it to 5. Protogen in 5. What about you, Aralax?
It's okay for me personally. I think this really, this entire match really hinges on if Protogen Rebellion can just keep up that mental. Because I've heard and seen partly that this Progen Rebellion squad really just absolutely loves to mess around, and when they mess around, they play very well. But Black Bunny Gaming can definitely put on the pressure very quickly, so it's definitely going to be difficult. But Fade, I'm going to have to agree with you that Progen Rebellion will just keep up those good vibes and take it in 5.
Jockey?
I hate to be the one to vote against the Cinderella run, but I don't. I think it'll be close, but not quite as close. I think one of these teams is probably gonna be a little bit more aggressive than the other. I think that'll show itself. So I'll pick Black Bunny. I think they'll win it in 4. Yeah, unfortunately, that has to be, I think, what I think will happen.
Okay, Black Bunny in 4. That's not a bad guess, and actually, you are right in line with Fire, as Fire also predicted Black Bunny in 4. And hopefully Fire is still here, and is writing these down for us.
I can write them down just in case.
I mean, yeah, but I think Fire is still here, so should be fine. But let's move on to our next matchup. Big Dragon Squad versus Persian 1. And honestly, all I can say is, unfortunately, Persian 1, you made a roster change. Not sure exactly what's going on behind the scenes for that team, but if there was one week that you didn't want to have a lack of chemistry, it's gonna be against BDS. I think BDS is gonna win that in a sweep. I think that, you know, they're such a aggressive attacking team, and we've seen multiple times that Persian 1 can be really good on the attack, but their defense can be lacking. And I think that Big Dragon Squad is just the team to try to take advantage of that. So I definitely think that they are going to definitely going to take that one in a sweep. So there's my prediction.
I think I'm also going to go with BDS, but I think that Persian 1 is going to be able to adapt at least a little bit on that defensive side, because like if it is looking like a sweep, I feel like if Persian 1 is put on under that much pressure, they're going to be able to adapt at least a little bit and start fighting back. But I feel like just that onslaught from BDS, especially if we see the the backfire come out, then it's definitely going to be dangerous. So I'm gonna say BDS in 4.
Wow, stealing my stuff. I mean, I'll say the same thing I said about, I think, Twisted Tales last time we talked about predictions, and I'd love to be proven wrong. Yeah, in terms of Twisted Tales, in terms of the new roster, I'm getting to my point. Don't worry. In terms of new rosters having like a little bit of a downtime when they start, like, I know we talk about things like honeymoon and whatnot, but that tends to be like pros, and unfortunately we're not all the best in the best, so it's hard to make those adaptations without work. We can't just kind of come into teams and be proficient that quickly, especially with these different ranked rosters. So there generally is that kind of learning period, and I think with Persian 1, again, we talked about it before. This is their third since the beginning of the season. Obviously, there's been some struggles. They'll need to figure that out, and I think that will take time. So I think they'll play well, but I just, this is like Erlich said, this is the worst team to go up against when you're having that kind of period. With BDS being so difficult to deal with their offense, you need to be really locked in, and I think they'll play well. It's so hard to deal with that. So I do think that BDS takes it in 4.
All right, and I will go real quick to check what Fire said for his, and I believe he said it was going to be 3-0 to BDS. So kind of stealing my prediction there, Fire, but you know what? It's all right. I think I'll allow it. But that being said,
Wow, he'll allow it.
I'll allow it. But let's go on to our next match. Cloud9 versus Awaptic Gaming. And you know what? 2 of us can't make predictions on this one. So
I'm predicting
Erlich,
anyways. I'm winning.
fun. I'm winning. What do you mean? But Arrow, what's up? Who's winning?
This guy. No.
I'm staring at you. I hope you know.
C9 versus. Yeah, I know. I feel the eyes. Please stop. I'm getting uncomfortable. Cloud9 Optic. That is. Honestly, I feel like that's 2 teams going up against each other that are very, like, team-based, honestly. Like, we've seen a ton of passing plays from Awaptic and a lot of pretty good passing plays from Cloud9 as well. It's just... It's really difficult to say. And I hate that, like, I have nobody to bounce off of here. But... I think this is pretty much guaranteed to go to a game 5. Possibly even overtime in said game 5. And it's really just gonna hinge off of 1 goal. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to give the edge to Cloud9.
That's what I like to hear. I will say
I know Alex is getting paid, and I'm not.
you do have some support, Docky, because Fire Streak predicts Game 5, Elliptic Gaming in overtime. So he has some I think that's the best way to say it could go either way, but he's giving your team the win.
Wow.
Game 5 OT. That would be fun. I would love to get to a Game 5 OT against Yudaki. It'll be a fun match either way. I'm excited for it. But let's go ahead and we gave Aerolax too much time to talk there. Let's give him none at all. Dignipause versus Lumimosity here. And this is kind of an easy one for me. I'm giving this 3-1 to Lumimosity. And the biggest reason about that is that I do not know what Dignipause is bringing to the table. They've let go of Yuki. Yuki is now a free agent. I don't know who they're going to be bringing in with Nova Fox to fill in that third role. I don't know how they're going to perform as a team. I don't know what kind of synergy they're going to have, if any sort of chemistry is going to exist. I could give Dignipause one game because Sylvie is really good. And I think that there will be at least a pop-off game where Dignipause can outscore Aerolax and Avid. But, I mean, they're just so solid when Aerolax is showcasing on the team. And the Avid and Aerolax combo has been going crazy. So I cannot doubt them right now. So, Game 4, Lumimosity. What about you, Docky?
I mean, yeah. I agree. I think that as this one will be a matter of, kind of that X factor. But I think I might disagree with you a little bit. And that I don't think the X factor necessarily might be who's going to be the third on Dignipause. I think the X factor is going to be if Aerolax is playing the game. We'll have to see if Aerolax gets more than 10 hours the past 2 weeks going into their match.
Bro.
Valid.
Aerolax is at 15,
right, you know what?
maybe
I'm checking my last two right now.
Maybe they might have a chance at winning. But in my opinion, I've seen Aerolax play maybe 1 or 2 ranked games over the past 3 months.
That is completely false. Check my tracker right now.
I've seen Sylvie playing a bunch. Okay, and I played recently with Sylvie, and Sylvie's been popping off recently. So it's hard to kind of vote against that. Being able to see them actually play the game. So I'm gonna give it to Dignipause in 5.
Okay, Dignipause in 5, and just to make sure I know what I'm doing.
I just want to say, last 2 weeks, 48.3 hours.
That's 4.3 hours, by the way. Don't let Aerolax lie to you.
Wow! I can't believe this. Fire has.
Do I need to say how many games I've played this season?
5, so
Like 2.
a lot. But no, Dignipause versus Lumimosity. Fire Streak has it in 5 going to Lumimosity. So that's 2 to 1 right now.
I have just under 100 games played.
Wow.
This season.
But let's
Ducky,
move on
you're wrong.
Well, we only have 2 more matches to be wrong or right on. So let's go to this next one.
Wait,
What's
Fade, what did you predict
I
on that one
predicted
again?
Game 4 for you guys.
Game 4, okay, gotcha.
Game 4 Lumimosity. Let's move on to the next one. Foxland versus Gentlepause. And as I said previously, this one is one that I'm very excited to see. I definitely think it goes to a Game 5. I think, honestly, you guys are gonna be shocked by this one, and I might get this one wrong. But we'll have to see. But I think if we get to a Game 5, I think Gentlepause takes it in 5. I think that it's either going to go one of 2 ways. I'm predicting Gentlepause in 5. I think it goes either Game 5 to Gentlepause or a sweep by FoxClan, because either Pictus is showing up and placing his shots, or he's not. And if he's not, FoxClan is going to dominate them. But if he is, then the rotational style of Gentlepause is going to be very, very effective. And I think Gentlepause can definitely take that one. So, for once, I'm predicting against FoxClan. Gentlepause in 5. Aerolax, what about you?
Well, I mean, if Fade is predicting against his old team, like, let's kind of say something. But yeah, I have also got to go with Gentle Pause for that one, because it really feels like, I don't want to say that they're like a sleeper team, but it really feels like Gentle Pause has just so much potential that is still yet to be achieved, and I feel like once they're able to just figure out just like those small things that are holding them back, it's going to be terrifying for anyone to go up against them. As for Fox Clan, I know that especially that Taka Javian combo is a force to be reckoned with, but I feel like, especially having Fire on that team, just one of the old players from the old Gentle Pause, who was known as just the defensive masterclass of Season 0, I think with him kind of just like leading the charge on defense and Pictus leading the charge on offense, Gentle Pause is going to take this in 4.
Yes, to all the nice things to say, and I gotta sound mean now.
Okay, well, get further on the left of the desk then.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Wow. This is bowling, Airlex. Come on. So, here, the thing, I think Airlex says something that I think is very true, and that Gentle Pause team is a team with a lot of potential, but I cannot, in my personal opinion, predict in favor of them until I see that potential come to fruition. They've played really, really well when Pictus has been kind of locked in and playing really, really well. I've yet to see, I think, the C3s on that team kind of support Pictus in a more rotational manner rather than kind of setting Pictus up to do Pictus type things. And we saw last week, I think, Fox Clan dismantle a one-man kind of, not carry, because that sounds mean, but kind of a single attack point in X3, and they dismantled that very well with their passing plays and their midfield play. And I think against a team like Gentle Pause with Pictus kind of taking on a lot of that setup play and kind of solo play stuff, I think they'll have a relatively similar game plan going up against that, and I think that'll work in their favor. So, and I can be entirely wrong by this, and Gentle Pause can come out, with a more, tight rotation game plan, which they definitely can. I mean, all three of them are good enough to do it. I just haven't quite seen that with this roster yet. If they do it, I'll be happy to see it. But my prediction is going to be that we kind of see a similar gameplay as we saw against X3, and I think 4-1, or not 4-1, in 4, 3-1, for Fox Clan.
Dang, you're almost making me want to change my prediction there, because that is actually some very valid points. Are predictions locked? Are they locked already?
They're locked.
Yeah, too late. Okay, well, I might just have to cope, because that's some really good, really good points you made there. But Firestreak did not get to guess on that one, so we don't have any for him for that one. But that leaves us with our last match to predict of the week. It's going to be Twisted Tails versus X3 Tactics. And I'm going to start this one saying Game 4 to Twisted Tails. Mainly for almost the same reasons I had with Dignapause. We don't know who the third for X3 is going to be yet. And I don't really know what I can expect from the roster. Meanwhile, seeing Twisted Tails play against Persian 1 the way they did last 2 weeks ago, it really impressed me. It showed me that that team has a lot of potential. And as I said, I've been seeing them putting the grind in these last couple of weeks in the VCs and everything, spending a lot of time in there with each other. And I think that they're going to have used this break to their fullest potential. Meanwhile, X3 Tactics doesn't know who they're going to have for a third yet. So that means that after they figure that out, there's still going to be a lot of practice that they're going to need to have to kind of get the chemistry online. And I think Twisted Tails will be able to take advantage of that. So I give X3 Tactics a game because Shy is really good, and I don't know anything about this new Trico person, but they're GC2 in the league, so they have to be good, right? So, wow, Docky.
What
I
was
mean,
that?
not
I was
counting,
like-
not
I just
counting
meant
Docky
I
because
was
he's
gonna
a
say
GC2 and he's
being called, I
crud.
was gonna say
He's crud.
being called GC2 does. I don't know if I'd give that much weight since I'm considered that, but
Yeah, but that's fair. That's fair, Docky. But no, I give it to Twisted Tails. I give it to Twisted Tails in 4. What about you, Arrow?
I've also got to agree that is going to go Twisted Tails in 4, but the only issue is that like this is a completely new X3 Tactics team, and I don't know how they're going to play because we only know of 2 of the players that are going to be on that squad, so they really could play just however. So Twisted Tails is just gonna have to be ready to adapt to pretty much anything, but given how they performed last week, they definitely have a lot of potential, and I feel like if they can just, like, even though they lost that last series, if they can just bring the momentum that they have from that into this series, they'll just have to capitalize on that lack of just cohesion that this X3 Tactics squad will have, and they'll be able to win it.
was it my? Oh wait, oh me.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
it's
your
your
turn,
turn
Docky.
Oh, okay. Well, this is interesting because they're both in a similar situation. We talked. I feel like I'm a broken record right now, but new rosters, there's a grace period, and there's always going to be. Unless you're a top, you know, 2K 2200 MMR player, it's really hard to jump into a team and just immediately start clicking. So it's going to be tough. I think both teams are probably going to struggle from that a little bit since both are relatively new. But we saw last week, I think, even with sales being new, they played really well. And I think they, like you said, saying they've been grinding. So I think that they'll come out of this, I think, pretty strong. I'm excited to see what this extra team does. I don't know. You said Trico?
Yes.
I'm unfamiliar with them but in any capacity. So I'll be excited to see how they perform. I joked about, the GC2 and, but, as someone who plays a lot of GC2s in my time, they're pretty reliable sometimes. So I'm sure I'm sure that team will be fine. I'll have to obviously see how they perform, but they'll be good. But I think it'll take some time for them to kind of settle. So, give me Liska mode, give me Twisted Tails. I'm gonna predict them in 3. But I think they'll be close games. But I think that they have such an advantage with time that the games will be close. But I do think that they'll be able to squeak out 3 wins.
Interesting. Well, Fire also agrees with us, I believe. He has Twisted Tails taking it in Game 5. So we're expecting a lot of Game 5s to come out from some of these teams. I'm very excited to see what they have. And just to remind you guys of the scores going into the predictions, let's show that really quick. And I don't think this is necessarily all correct, but you can see 25 and 17
Close
for me,
enough.
25 and 20 for Docky. So now the same amount of correct ones. Fire Streak down at the bottom of the casters with 22 to 23. Parallax has 23 to 20. And then Guess 21 to 14. Although I believe that might not necessarily be correct, but I could be wrong. I believe the guests are supposed to have taken the lead in this last week, so I'm not sure exactly.
I think it's just the percentage.
I think the percentage is the best for the guest, which would make sense.
Because the guests are far better at this than any of us.
Well, that being said, the guests have missed 7 less than they've gotten right, but Docky has only missed 5 less than they've gotten right. So I guess it all comes down to percentages, but I'm not entirely sure. But that does leave one more thing for us to discuss tonight, guys. And as they said earlier, we did accidentally skip this. So let's go ahead and talk about the MVP of the week. And I think this is a really good MVP. I think they showed off very good skills in their last match, but let's go ahead and show off here. And you can already tell who it's going to be. It's going to be Javian, who absolutely started demolishing X3 Tactics in their match. And, I mean, that's a really good job for Javian. He should be proud of this accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like, I wasn't able to really see the match in its entirety, but going through this, it was just absolutely stellar just plays from Javian, especially this pass over, just right past Korup, and then straight to Taka for the double. That is an absolutely glorious shot.
Yeah, and then you can see this shot. I think this was the game 4 winner for the series, and it was just an excellent play shot, especially at the end of a tense game. But, I mean, Daki, what do you think about JV and MVP?
Man, I think they did a really good job of getting in the heads of that X3 team. And that worked, I think, strongly in their benefit. It's just such a difficult team to go up against. I played them early on. And it's just, you got to be worried about that kind of counter-tech mid-play field, the midfield play that they're so good at doing with Javian and Taka. Both of them rotate or position themselves in a way that someone is always able to turn and not give you space, and that has worked out so well for them. That's kind of shut down a lot of those long developing solo plays that we've seen from some of the the GC3 SSL players, and I imagine that'll just continue to work in their benefit, having that kind of tight rotation. So yeah, well deserved. They've been on a massive uptick since the beginning of the season, and I'm sure they've got a lot of good plays to show us throughout the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I
And
have
one
to
thing-
agree.
Oh,
What, Arrow? What do you guys say? What do you guys say?
One thing that I do want to mention that I did see is that there was actually a Rule 1, I believe in Game 2, I think. I can't remember entirely, but to know that the MVP for this week didn't break a Rule 1, that makes me happy. That makes me very happy.
That is true. And speaking of those superstitions and everything, it is a good thing that I went against Fox Clan in this one, because Javian getting MVP, you guys know what that means. He got the MVP curse, which means next week is a very big toss-up on if they'll be able to perform or not. We will have to see. But guys, that is going to be it for our podcast tonight. Congratulations to Javian for the MVP. And that being said, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. We're going to go ahead and head on out of here a little bit early tonight. Just letting all you guys know here that live in the U.S., there's a big storm going on in the East right now. So if you live in the East, be careful, because there's some serious storms coming your way. I'm going to go and get ready for those myself. But besides that, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a good night. And I hope that we all see you here on Saturday for the first day of Week 10 of RFDL. And guys, we only have 2 weeks to go before we're hitting mid-season. Are you guys excited? I'll take that as a yes. So thanks once again, guys. We will see you here on Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. Until then, have a good night, and we will see you for some more league play. Peace out.